Hey guys, welcome back to A Slice of Life. I'm Matt.
I'm Lais.
And welcome back to another one of our videos. We are doing our 5 best, 5 worst, and a few honorable mentions for
Disney.
She's
now
more excited
we're in my
about this.
territory.
Exactly.
So as you guys don't know, I don't know yet. We actually met when I was working for Disney on my second Disney program as a guest relations. We have annual passes to Universal now, so I love both of them. But I feel like Disney is my backyard. I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do about that.
There's not much she can do to get me to go to Magic Kingdom these days. The only reason I go to Magic Kingdom is if my niece and my nephew are in town.
Or I really ask. So, as you mentioned, we're gonna do Disney today. And if you have never been to Walt Disney World, because we're gonna focus on Walt Disney World in Orlando, we're not gonna talk necessarily about the other parks. Disney has 4 theme parks. They have Magic Kingdom, the traditional one with the castle. They have Animal Kingdom, which the name pretty much gives it away. Epcot, which the huge golf ball, you know what it is, and you go drinking with the country, that's fun. And My Home Hollywood Studios. So our first pick was Flight of Passage, which is the Pandora area, that movie from James Cameron, amazing. And they have a ride called Flight of Passage, which is kind of like a motorcycle feeling to it, but you're flying a Banshee. And it's amazing. The quality of the projection, the quality of the interaction with the bike itself. Even the line has a lot of attractive things, as in it scans you, and we don't want to give a lot away, but
it's awesome. It's well
breathtaking.
worth the wait.
My dad almost cried on the first ride, and my dad's not the hugest fan of theme parks at all.
It's awesome.
It's just completely, I can't even. It's too good.
And the next one on our best list is a
Tower
classic.
of Terror!
Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios. It is a classic. You know, for the moment you go inside this creepy hotel, you're welcomed by the very delightful cast of hotel bellmen and, you know, bellwomen, I don't know if that's even a word, that are there. So, and then you have a little bit of a pre-show. You know, you have a little bit into the Twilight Zone field and, you know, backstory. You know, Into the Twilight Zone is an old.
90s, 80s, something like that. Like, or older.
Older. 90s,
Sorry.
80s. Older. So, further back than that. But yeah, so Twilight Zone is just, you know, about the weird and the mysterious. And it's just an awesome free fall ride. You know, you get into the steam room when you get into the elevator, and once you get into the elevator, you know, it brings you up, you go through the Twilight Zone, and then the drop is just
I love it.
Awesome.
And
like it's such an awesome build up.
Yeah, the amount of falls and how it does it is different every time. It's not necessarily the same, like fall twice or half falls. It's never gonna be the same. They have different programming, so it's a lot of fun. And fun fact, the cast members in the Tower of Terror and Haunted Mansion are the only cast members that are allowed to be grumpy at you besides the actual villains.
Whereas at Universal Studios, they don't have to be nice to you.
And that actually brings us to our third one in the list of the best ones, Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion was completely a game changer. I was lucky enough to be able to do one of the tours backstage to see how the magic happens. And it's just, I think it's adorable, cute, and scary at the same time if you're a kid, because Emma was scared when we were there.
Yeah. I don't know if I rode in the same card as her. I can't remember.
No, you didn't. I think you were with Luke and Peter.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes. So it is just a cute vintage one, and one of my wishes in life is to be able to go to California Disney, because during the Christmas time they make their Haunted Mansion into Jack Skellington's Haunted Mansion.
That's pretty cool.
As you can see, Jack is my boy.
But no, it's a fun ride. I love all the little tricks that they put into it. You know, the crystal ball, the, you know, undead dance party that they have going on. It's just a really cool thing. Even the queue has a lot of fun interactive pieces to it.
Mm-hmm. That is completely true.
On to the next one, I would definitely have to say that Aerosmith is, of course, one of our top 5 that we have between all the Disney parks.
4, 3, 2, yeah! Floosh. Awesome.
The pre-show, this is probably one of the few ones where the pre-show is not like big in why we selected this, but the ride itself is just, it's adrenaline, it's it's basically a groupie car that you're taking over to the concert.
Yeah.
And just the soundtrack of Aerosmith, playing through this, just like the Mummy, dark roller coaster with all, but this one actually has loop-de-loops, where the Mummy does not. And it's just a lot of fun. And then just to end at the gift shop with all like the rock and roll memorabilia. It's just a really cool ride. It's a lot of fun. It's high energy. It's fast paced. And I mean, you can't go wrong with the soundtrack of Aerosmith in the background.
That is completely true.
And then our last favorite, what do you got for him?
Okay, so our last but not least is Star Tours. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit because we realized later on that most of our least favorite ones
she knows about, and I really don't. I can say the name of them, but I don't know much about them.
You know the Speedway, you know the idea, you just haven't been to most of them.
I gave one away, don't say that. So, our last one is Star Tours for our favorites. Star Tours, the main reason, it's a different experience every time, a different planet, a different group of planets, different travels. It's just a really, really cool ride. We both really enjoy Star Wars, and it's just such a cool experience. They go from the first trilogy, the original trilogy, the final trilogy. Like
they updated
it's just really cool
constantly.
how they do it.
Especially for us because we can go a lot. Is a ride that never gets boring because it's always, they have, I don't even know how many different kinds. It's like over 100, 120 types of routine that they can have. So it's an amazing ride every time. So I definitely recommend. And because it's high volume all the time, the lines are not usually the highest. So I really like going. Plus they're located into an awesome restaurant with huge burgers. So.
I don't know that one.
I'll show you.
All right. And so our list for the 5 worst are...
We're gonna start with one that honestly, I don't understand how it always has a huge line. I can't. And I mentioned a second ago when he said I gave it away, which is the Speedway. It's boring and I'm sorry, it's just, I don't get it. So it's like 45 an hour and a half of line to stay on this line that you just...
If anybody remembers those cars where you had the little remote and you're stuck to you're stuck to a track and you just kind of keep pushing the button and it's stuck on this track and you have to make sure they're stuck on that track. That's Speedway without the super speed way.
At all. It's boring and it's that one line. And I love that they have the sign that says, please don't bump into the other person, and everybody's bumping it on purpose. It's so boring.
It's not fun.
It's boring.
If you're looking for an experience like that, go karting.
Yeah.
There's other options in Orlando.
I mean, I get that some people have no choice because once they have little kids that see them, they really want to go.
True.
And you can see, because you can pass through the sides of it, and you can see the face of the parents regrets. Like, hello darkness, my old friend that's coming. Yeah. I can see like the kids like pressing the
and then you just have the parents.
And the parents like.
All right. The next one, I guess I could kind of talk to this, is the Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah.
The only reason I remember this is because my cousin, my brother, and I were in the shooting gallery not too far from that, and we would see and hear the Country Bear Jamboree, and we were just content with staying at that shooting gallery. There wasn't even an attraction, there wasn't even a show, nothing. We were just content just shooting little red dots at barely moving targets than dealing with the bears. It's outdated. It's one of the Disney things that are super outdated. It's a little creepy at times, and it's not fun. I feel like that's all we really need to say about that one.
It's just like, shut it down. Like, shut it. There's no saving it, because nobody knows who they even are anymore, unless the people that work in that attraction or 70-year-old people that are in the little bikes with their grandkids screaming at them. Nobody cares. Shut it down. Sorry.
So
fight me.
The next one is going to be the Hall of Presidents.
So he didn't think even that was an attraction, and I had to explain to him that it is considered an attraction. And the only reason, I will never forget it, the only reason I know this is because back in 2011, the first time ever I went to Disney, I went to the Hall of Presidents because after lunch it was so hot, we were so tired, and it was the only place with no lines, so we went to the Hall of Presidents and napped. It started telling about all the history of the presidents, and we just looked at each other and like, and woke up 20 minutes later ready for it to be all the rides again. So
I knew it was
so
there. I just
boring.
I didn't know it was a ride. I thought it was just like a walkthrough. So I had no idea. So this is all her knowledge.
I mean,
But-
I
this
can
one's at Epcot.
appreciate.
Oh, no.
No, it's
Oh,
in
it's
Magic
Magic
Kingdom,
Kingdom,
Liberty
sorry.
Square. That's how important it is. You don't even know where it is.
No, I don't even know.
It's just I can appreciate the fact of the history behind it and trying to give an homage to that. But is it really that's the right way and the right place to do it? You know, that whole space could have been used for something so much better.
So much
Especially Magic Kingdom. So, but a great place for a nap.
And then our next on the worst list is the Muppets.
Oh my god. So this is something funny. Back when I was working at studios, Muppets never has a line. Absolutely never has a line. For two reasons. One, nobody ever wants to go there. There's no point. There's no point. It's a movie theater that's kind of 4D-ish with the Muppets, which the Muppets are already a dying art. That's number one. Second, it hasn't been revamped or anything in forever. And the second reason why it has never aligned ever in history, and if it does, that's when we know the park is on fire, it's because it's a huge theater and it's constantly like high volume, so they can clear out people pretty fast. So that's an easy ride that, again, just like the Hall of Presidents, you can go and take a nap in the middle of the day, enjoy some sitting in air conditioning. Unless you're a huge Muppets fan, then I'm sorry, you have bigger issues in life. Sorry. But it's just boring. It is. Maybe if they got something newer, like, I don't know, The Incredibles, and made a new show.
Maybe.
There are a few things that are adorable, and I'm completely against about some changes that they have done. But some things like the Jamboree and Muppets that absolutely needs to go, nobody gets rid of it. I don't understand it.
But the last one that we have to go through is the Living with the Land at Epcot, which, again, I gotta default to you. I have no idea.
Okay, so Living with the Land, I will defend it. That I think is an adorable ride that shows some things, especially in the ages that we live in with kids that have no idea where even eggs come from. So it has an important meaning, and I think is an amazing when it comes to education ride. I loved it, my dad loved it, but my dad loves planes and stuff, so it's kind of a given. But I think maybe it should be approached differently perhaps, because like we said, there is a time and place for some things, and I don't know if that's the best way to go, because the most excitement I've seen with the kids that I rode with, the most attractive that she was to that was the Mickey shaped plants or the flowers and fruits that she wanted to get out to get.
Which we understand Epcot is about preservation and new technologies. That was like the whole premise of why Epcot was built and what it was
and
for.
Animal Kingdom too. Animal Kingdom is actually, if you don't know, it's not just a theme park, it's also a conservation unit because of their efforts in education, which is fine. As again, what we are saying here is maybe the approach needs some remodeling. That's all.
On to the honorable mentions. So I'm gonna get a little speaking time in now for this one, since I really don't know much about the worst.
It's not my fault if you don't know, Brock. Come on.
I'm sorry,
Step
I don't know
up
much
again,
about
okay?
Disney.
Okay.
So one of the honorable mentions is the new ride at Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon. So it is a super cool experience. Everybody's assigned a position and a color. It is an awesome experience. We definitely recommend it. It's definitely worth the wait. It's a lot of fun. It's difficult when there are kids as the pilots because it actually does do what the pilot is doing, and everybody does have a role to play in your success with the mission. And at the end, you get a little feedback on your mission, and there's also, if you do very well, a bonus level.
Which
spoiler alert.
we actually got to do.
Which was a lot of fun.
If you were with a group of 6, then you know your friends, you can prepare, and that way you can do better. Because when we went, it was like my 3rd time, and I've never gotten to the bonus.
And we had a family with us.
It just didn't happen because you need to have the pilots to drive properly, the gunners to shoot properly, and engineers needs to be on top to catch everything. So when we got the bonus room, I was the only one apparently that was there, like
that
from
have done
previous,
it before, yeah.
because I was like, oh my god, we got the bonus, and everybody's like, we are on the bonus.
We're still
What's going on?
going?
I'm like, yes. So it was really fun to actually get to the bonus at least once.
Yeah, it's a good. Long story short, We recommend that ride.
It's a lot of fun. Again, because it's one of the newest rides that opened recently, get ready for lines. And this is exactly the kind of situation where I mentioned, go back to the app, study a little bit, because the whole setting on how you can even get access to the Star Wars land is very particular in studios. So I definitely recommend take a step back, read about it so you can plan yourself so you don't get to the park and you can't even get into there to take pictures or see it or even try the food or the drinks.
But again, the reason why, I don't think we touched on this, the reason why it's an honorable mention is because it really, your enjoyment really depends on your co-pilots, your pilots, your gunners, like it really depends on that. So it wasn't one of our favorites for that reason, but if you're with your friends, I could definitely see it being one of our favorites.
Yes. So for our next honorable mention, it's one of my absolute favorites, which is the Lion King show. So the Lion King show is something I take everybody every time I go to Animal Kingdom. It's simply amazing. It has all the things. It has the music from Lion King with the feelings of it, dancers, they have characters, they have, of course, air conditioning and sitting in the middle of Florida summer. It's awesome. Definitely cannot. And it's so much fun, and they have a participation of the kids, which I've been invited to be already. But it's just something that I always recommend because it mixes everything together of the feelings of Lion King with the magic of Disney. It's just breathtaking, and I recommend 10 out of 10 every time. It's an honorable mention because it's not necessarily the most fun ride ever, but it gives all the feels, and it's Lion King. I'm sorry.
Hakuna Matata. Can't beat that.
Last but not least, our final one is going to be Test Track.
So, so Test Track is one of my personal favorites, but I mean, you can't argue with our list. It was, our top 5 is pretty good. Yeah. But we wanted to put this for an honorable mention because not only is the queue interactive, you know, you get to see the concept cars that are currently out there with other car companies, but you get to design your own car, and you know, you have a time limit to how long it takes, so you really have to think quickly on how you want it to look, how you want it to handle, and then once you get your concept car, you get to put it to the test with everybody else within your own car, and it'll rank you throughout each test. There's, I believe, 4 tests? I can't remember what it is.
Power, speed, control, something like that.
Energy efficiency, I know, is one of them. So at least 4, maybe 5, and that speed test at the end, woo! Oh, it's the best thing, and there's a fun surprise, like for anybody who's never ridden Test Track. But it gets an honorable mention just because of all the interactions, you know, and at the very end, once you're done, you can take that car that you created and you can create, after the ride, you can create a little advertisement for that car. You know, you can mix it with, you pick your voice, you pick your music, and then it creates this cool little advertisement, and it's a great free thing that you can send to your email, a thing that you personalized, and getting anything for free at the theme parks is awesome. So it's just a really
fun, not unheard of.
Yeah, so it's just a really fun thing to do after the fact that the ride is over.
Yeah, I really like to see because you see the different cars and the different aerodynamics after every test, and you can see how people, this is more important to me or this is more important to me, and to see later on after you leave the ride, you will show you, for example, the ranking of that day to see your car compared to every other car that day. How fast was it? How strong was it? Was it the best overall? So it's really cool because it gives a sense of competition feeling of it, and it makes you, I don't know, it always gives you the feels, at least for me, to be able to see the imagination of people.
Yeah, because some of them are really, really creative. I feel like that's it. We've given you our 5 best, we've given you our 5 worst, and a few honorable mentions in the middle. So you guys know the drill. Make sure to hit the like button, comment below if you have anything fun to say. Please be nice. And then subscribe, and also hit that notification bell if you want to know about our most recent or ongoing live videos. But thanks for taking a slice of life with us, guys. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.